Let yourself grow still now. There is nothing left for you to carry tonight. The day is behind you, all of it. The parts that went well and the parts that did not, and none of it is asking anything of you anymore. You can lay it down. You can let your shoulders soften and your hands grow loose and warm, and your breathing slow until it is deep and even and quiet, like water settling in a wide, calm pool at the close of the day. Listen gently. The story I am going to tell you tonight is very old, older than the cities, older than the kingdoms, older than the names we know. It comes from the Yoruba people of West Africa, who have carried it for longer than anyone can count, passing it from voice to voice in the evenings, the way you pass a warm lamp from hand to hand. But you do not need to remember any of it. You do not need to follow each word. The words are only a soft road for you to walk down until sleep comes to meet you, and you are welcome to fall asleep at any moment along the way. Whenever your thoughts begin to drift, let them drift. Whenever your mind wanders from my voice, let it wander. That is exactly what is meant to happen here. Tonight, we go back to the very beginning of the world, back before the dry land, before the first hill of red earth rose out of the deep, back before the palm trees lifted their long green fronds to the wind, before any hen scratched in the dust, before any person opened their eyes for the first time and looked at the morning. We go all the way back to a time when there was only the sky above, vast and bright and full of quiet gods, and below it the wide gray water going on forever, with no shore anywhere upon it. Imagine that water for a moment, the way you might imagine a great calm sea seen in the half-light before dawn. It has no edge that you can find. It stretches away in every direction, smooth and slow and endless, rising and falling in long, soft swells that never break, because there is no land anywhere for them to break against. It is not stormy. It is not cruel. It is only deep and patient and waiting, turning slowly beneath a sky that has not yet given it anything to hold. The water did not know that it was waiting. It simply was, turning and turning beneath the sky, holding within itself, unknowing, everything that would one day be drawn out of it. All the shores and the islands and the wide green lands, all of it still dissolved and sleeping in the deep, the way a whole spring of flowers sleeps unseen in the frozen winter ground. There was no impatience in the water, and there was no impatience in the sky above it, and there is no need for any impatience in you tonight. Everything that will be made in its own slow time. For now, there is only the deep, and the dim, soft light, and the long, even breathing of a sea that has nowhere it needs to be. And high above that endless water lay the sky, which the Yoruba storytellers call the realm of Olorun, the owner of the sky, the great one whose breath is in everything. The sky was a place of light and warmth and gentle company. There the gods went about their long, unhurried lives, and among them was one we will follow tonight, a calm and patient maker whose name was Obatala. He is the one this story belongs to. He is the one who will come down slowly on a long chain to make a world out of the water. But not yet. For now, simply rest here with me, in the warm space between the bright sky and the wide gray water, where everything that will ever be is still only waiting to begin. Let that be the first gift this old story gives you. There is no hurry at the beginning of the world. Nothing rushes to be made. Everything takes its slow and gentle time. And so, tonight, may you, Stay a while in the sky with me before anything is made. We are in no hurry to begin the work. Picture the high realm of Olorun, the way you might picture a wide golden country seen from far away in the late afternoon. There is a soft light over everything, warm and even. The kind of light that does not glare and does not fade, that simply holds, steady and kind, hour after hour. There are the gods who dwell there, the Orisha, the bright and quiet powers of the early world, each going about their own gentle work, each at peace. And over all of it, in it, beneath it, is Olorun, the owner of the sky, so vast and so present that the storytellers do not give him a face or a shape, but speak of him the way you might speak of the warmth of the sun on your skin, something you feel everywhere and cannot point to. There was a stillness to the high realm, but it was a living stillness, the kind you feel in a quiet house at evening when everyone you love is near and at peace. The light did not move much, but it breathed. The gods did not hurry, but they were not idle. They went softly about their gentle works, and between their works they rested, and there was no line drawn between the resting and the working, for both were done in the same easy calm. If you can imagine a place where nothing is ever rushed and nothing is ever anxious, where the warm light holds steady, and the company is kind, and the hours are long and soft, then you can imagine the realm of Olorun, and you can begin, perhaps, to let your own room become a little like it now. In that high, bright place lived Obatala. He was one of the eldest and the gentlest of the gods, and he loved to make things. His hands were never quite still. He liked to shape and to mold, to take a thing that had no form and coax a form out of it slowly, with patience and with care. And when he looked down, sometimes, from the edge of the sky, and saw the wide gray water stretching on forever below, with no land anywhere upon it, a quiet thought would come to him. All that water, he would think, and no shore. All that space, and nothing growing in it. No hills, no trees, no place for anything to stand. What a thing it would be to make a world down there. For a long age, the thought was only a thought, drifting through him the way a cloud drifts across a wide sky, in no hurry to become anything. The gods of the high realm were patient. They did not measure their days the way we measure ours. An idea could float among them for an age and an age before it ripened into a deed, and there was no impatience in that waiting, only a slow and easy ripening. The way fruit ripens on a tree without anyone hurrying it along, but ideas, even slow ones, grow. And the more Obatala looked down at the endless gray water, the more the wish took shape in him. He began to imagine the land that might be made. He imagined a first small hill of earth rising up out of the deep. He imagined it spreading, drying in the sun, growing wide and firm and good. He imagined green things rooting in it and lifting their leaves. He imagined, though he did not yet know their faces, small living beings walking upon it, looking up at the sky he had come from. The wish grew warm and bright in him, the way a coal grows brighter the longer you keep it. And so at last, Obatala went to find Olorun, the owner of the sky, to ask his blessing on the work. For the gentle gods did not undertake a great thing alone, in pride. They asked, they listened, they waited for the slow nod of the elder power before they began. And Olorun, who saw the wish in Obatala and found it good, gave him leave to go down and make a world out of the water below. Rest in that, for a moment, soft and warm, before anything was made, There was a wish to make it, and the wish was gentle, and it was patient, and it asked permission, and it waited. Nothing was seized. Nothing was rushed. A maker looked at the wide, empty water and dreamed, slowly, of a world, and then went humbly to ask if he might begin. Let that quietness settle over you now, the quietness of a good idea ripening in no hurry at all. Now, Obatala began to make ready, and even his making ready was slow and careful, and there is rest for you in watching it. For he did not rush down at once. He went first, the old tellers say, to the wisest of the gods, to ask what he would need to make a world out of water, and the wise one told him he would need something to make the land from, for there was nothing down there but the deep, and you cannot make a hill out of water alone, and he would need something living to help him spread that land. For a maker's 2 hands are small against the wideness of the world, and he would need something growing to root in the new earth and make it green, so the land would not lie bare. So Obatala gathered 3 things, and only 3, and I will name them slowly for you, because each one is a small and gentle wonder. The first was a snail's shell, and inside the snail's shell, packed close and soft, was sand. Loose, dry, golden sand, enough to fill the curl of the shell, gathered from the high country of the sky. It does not seem like much, does it? A single shell of sand to make a whole world from. But that is the way of the oldest stories. The greatest things begin from the smallest. A whole shore, a whole continent, a whole green and living land, all of it folded into one small shell. The way a tall tree is folded into a seed no bigger than your fingernail. Obatala took up the shell of sand and held it close. The second thing was a hen, a small, ordinary 5-toed hen, the kind that scratches in the dust and tilts its head and pecks at the ground. Not a great eagle, not a mighty bird of the heights, but a humble hen, because it was not strength that the work needed, but patience, and the long patient scratching that a hen does so well. Obatala gathered up the hen, and it settled against him, quiet and warm, content to be carried. And the third thing was a palm nut, a single seed of the palm tree, hard and brown and round, with a whole green grove of palms sleeping inside it. This was the growing thing, the thing that would root in the new earth and rise up and spread its long fronds to the wind. Obatala took the palm nut and kept it safe. He held the 3 of them together now, the shell and the bird and the seed, and looked at them, so small in his hands, and felt the whole great weight of the world he meant to make folded somehow into these few quiet things. It must have seemed almost impossible that so little could become so much. But he did not doubt it. A maker learns, over a long life of making, that almost everything begins this way, smaller than you would believe, light enough to carry in 2 hands, and that the bigness comes later, slowly, of its own accord, if only you are patient enough to let it. A shell of sand to make the land, a hen to spread it, a palm nut to make it green, 3 small things, gathered slowly and held close. That was all he would carry down out of the sky to make a world. And there is a deep gentleness in that, when you let yourself feel it. The world was not made out of thunder, or out of vast and frightening power. It was made out of a little sand, a small patient bird, and 1 brown seed, carried down by a maker who took his time. Let that smallness comfort you. The great things do not need to be loud. They can be quiet and humble and small enough to hold in two hands. And when he had gathered his 3 small treasures, Obatala made ready to go down. For from the high, bright country of the sky to the wide gray water below was a long, long way, and there was only one way to cross it. He would go down on a chain. Picture the chain now, and let yourself sink slowly into the picture, because the long way down is one of the most peaceful parts of this whole old story. The gods of the sky, the storytellers say, made Obatala a great golden chain, long enough to reach from the edge of the high realm all the way down toward the face of the deep water. They forged it link by link, slowly, the way patient hands do everything in this story, and they fastened it firm at the top, to the very edge of the sky, so that it hung down through the wide, bright air, swaying just a little, reaching down and down into the soft gray distance below. And Obatala, with the snail's shell of sand held safe and the hen tucked warm against him, and the palm nut kept close, took hold of the chain and began slowly to climb down. Imagine the descent. Imagine how long it is. He goes down hand over hand, link by link, in no hurry at all, and above him the bright country of the sky grows slowly smaller and farther, and below him the wide gray water grows slowly nearer, though it is so far still that he cannot yet hear it, only see it spreading away in every direction, endless and calm. The air around him is soft and warm and full of light at the top, and grows cooler and dimmer and quieter as he descends, the way the light changes as evening comes on. There is no sound but the faint creak of the links and the slow rhythm of his own breathing. Down and down and down, hand over hand, link after link. He does not count them, and neither should you. There is no need to know how many links there are on the chain from the sky. There are only enough, and the going down takes exactly as long as it takes, and there is no impatience in it. He is a patient God on a patient errand, lowering himself slowly out of the bright sky toward the work he has dreamed of for an age, and every link he passes brings the world a little closer to being made. Feel how steady it is. Feel how safe. He is held the whole way down. The chain is firm above him, fastened sure to the edge of heaven, and it will not give. He has only to keep his slow hold and let himself descend, link by link, lower and lower, while the great calm water rises up to meet him out of the dimness below. There is nothing to fear in the long way down. There is only the steady chain and the steady breath and the slow and certain nearing of the place where the world will begin. Perhaps you know this feeling, just a little, in the last soft minutes before sleep. The feeling of descending, slowly, gently, hand over hand, down out of the bright noise of the day towards something deep and quiet and waiting below. You do not have to hurry it. You do not even have to do it yourself. You have only to keep your easy hold and let yourself be lowered, link by link, down and down, into the soft gray calm, the way Obatala was lowered out of the sky. Let each slow breath be another link past. Let yourself descend, and as he came lower, the wide gray water that had seemed so far began at last to draw near. He could see it more clearly now, the long, slow swells rising and falling beneath him, smooth and unbroken, going on past the edges of seeing in every direction. There was a soft sound to it that reached him faintly through the dim air, the deep and even breathing of a sea that has never known a storm, a hush so vast and so gentle that it was almost no sound at all, only a softness in the air, a slow rise and fall, like the breathing of something very large and very calm asleep. He let himself be lowered toward it, unafraid, his three small treasures held close. The bright sky, now only a far warm glow above him, and the wide water turning slow and patient below. Down still further, link after link, the cool, damp breath of the deep rose up to meet him, and the light grew soft and gray and even, the light of the hour before dawn, when the world is not yet awake and everything waits in a tender stillness. There was no rush in any of it. There never had been in all this story, and there was none now. Only the steady chain and the steady breath, and the slow, sure nearing of the place where a world would be born. He had dreamed of this through a long age in the sky, and now, at last, swaying gently at the chain's far end, he was almost there. And so, after a long, long while, swaying gently at the end of the golden chain, Obatala came down at last, near to the face of the deep, where the wide, gray water turned slowly below him, and there was, as yet, no place anywhere for his feet to stand. There he hung, near the end of the chain, just above the wide gray water, with his three small treasures held safe, and the whole endless deep turning slowly below him. And now came the moment he had dreamed of through the long age in the sky. Now he would begin to make the world. He took up the snail shell and he tipped it gently over the face of the water, and out of the curl of the shell, the loose golden sand began to pour. Picture it falling, a soft stream of fine, dry sand, golden in the dim light, sifting down out of the small shell and onto the wide gray water below. It is not much sand. It is only what one snail shell can hold. But watch what it does. Where the sand falls upon the water, it does not sink away and vanish into the deep, as you might fear. It gathers, it settles, it begins, slowly, to mound up upon the surface, the way sand mounds up under your hand at the edge of the sea, a small heap, and then a larger one, spreading and rising, as more and more of it sifts down out of the shell. Obatala poured slowly, and the sand spread slowly, and a little hill of golden earth began to form upon the face of the deep. Just a little hill at first, a small dry place no wider than a mat, rising up out of the endless water. But it was land. It was the first land. In all the wide gray world, there had never been a single dry place to stand. And now, beneath the slow falling of the sand, the first one was forming, gathering itself up out of the water under the patient hands of the Maker. Let yourself feel the quiet wonder of that. Not a violent thing, not a mountain heaved up in fire and thunder, only sand sifting softly down out of a small shell, gathering grain by grain into the first dry land. The world began with a whisper, not a roar. It began with something as soft and as gentle as sand running through your fingers. And grain by grain, slow and unhurried, the first small island took shape upon the deep, golden and dry and new, while Obatala, swaying gently at the end of his chain, poured out the sand and watched the land he had dreamed of begin, at last, to be. But a small heap of sand upon the water is not yet a world. It is only a beginning, a single grain of an idea made real. The land would need to spread, to grow wide and firm enough for a God to stand upon, and for green things to root in, and for living beings to walk across. And the spreading of it was not work for a maker's two hands. It was work for a small, patient bird. And so Obatala turned Mao to the hen. Rest a moment first, though, in the gentleness of what has just happened. There is dry land in the world now, where before there was none. One small golden island, gathered softly out of the deep, whatever felt formless in your own day, whatever felt like nothing but wide gray water with no place to stand. Let this old image comfort you. Land can be made, grain by grain, out of almost nothing. A place to stand can gather itself, slowly, softly, out of the deep. And it begins, always, with something very small. Now Obatala took up the hen, the small five-toed hen that he had carried down so carefully against his chest, and he set her down upon the little hill of golden sand. And the hen did what a hen does. She began to scratch. Watch her in your mind, for she is one of the gentlest workers in all the old stories. She tilts her head. She sets one foot forward and rakes it back through the sand, and the little spray of golden grains flies out across the water and settles. Then the other foot, raking back, and another spray of sand scatters out and settles upon the deep. Scratch, and scratch, and scratch, and scratch. The patient, busy scratching of a hen looking for nothing in particular, content simply to scratch in the warm, dry earth. And with every rake of her small feet, the sand spread further. Where the scattered grains fell upon the water, more land formed. The little island grew. It widened on this side and on that side, as the hen worked her slow way across it, flinging the sand out in every direction with her small, tireless feet. A heap of sand became a stretch of shore. A stretch of shore became a wide field of dry land, and the wide field spread further still, reaching out across the face of the deep, hill and hollow and plain, as the hen scratched on, never hurrying, never tiring, simply doing the small thing she knew how to do, again and again, until a whole world of land lay spread upon the water, where there had been none at all, the place where she scratched out the first land, where the first dry earth spread wide upon the deep. The Yoruba storytellers call Ile-Ife. It means, in the old tongue, something like the home that is wide, the place of spreading, the first home. It is the place, they say, where the world began, where the land first opened out under a hen's patient feet, the navel and the cradle of all the dry earth. And ever after, Ile-Ife was held sacred as the spot where the world was made, the first home from which all the rest of the land spread out. And as the land widened, the shape of a world began to appear. Where the hen flung the sand thickly, the ground rose into gentle hills. Where she scattered it more thinly, the land lay low and flat, a wide green-to-be plain waiting for its green. Here a long slope ran down toward the water's edge and became the first shore, where the slow swells of the deep lapped softly against dry land for the very first time. There a hollow held a little of the water as it drew back, and became the first still pool, smooth as a mirror under the dim sky. The whole gentle landscape of the world, its hills and hollows and shores and shining pools, was being drawn out, slowly and softly, by the small raking feet of a single patient hen who did not know and did not need to know that she was making a world. She only scratched, content, and the world took shape behind her. There is such a deep lesson folded into that small, busy bird, and you do not need to hold it, only let it warm you as you drift. The world was not spread out in a single mighty gesture. It was spread slowly, a little at a time, by a small creature doing one small thing over and over with great patience. Scratch and scratch and scratch. A grain of sand flung out, and another, and another, and out of all those small patient strokes, a whole wide world. The greatest things, the old story says, are made not all at once, but little, by patient feet that do not tire, working slowly across the deep. So let the small, steady rhythm of the hen carry you now, the way a slow and steady sound can carry you down towards sleep. Scratch and settle, scratch and settle. The land spreading softly out across the water, wider and wider, hill and field and shore, while a small content bird works on and on in the golden dust, asking nothing, hurrying nowhere, simply making the world a little wider with every patient stroke. There is nothing left for you to spread tonight. The land is being made for you, slowly, by patient feet, while you rest. When the hen had scratched out the land far and wide, until there was a whole broad world of dry earth spread upon the deep, Obatala came down at last from the end of his chain and set his own feet upon the new ground. And it held him. The land he had made was firm and good and wide, and it held the weight of a god, and he stood upon it, the first one ever to stand upon the dry earth, and looked out over all that he had made. It was good land, but it was bare, golden and dry and wide, but with nothing growing on it, nothing green, nothing lifting its leaves to the wind. And so Obatala remembered the third of his small treasures, the palm nut, the brown seed with a whole grove of palms sleeping inside it. And he knelt down upon the new earth, and he made a small hollow in the warm sand with his fingers, and he set the palm nut into the ground, and he covered it over gently and left it to grow. And it grew. Out of the buried seed, slowly, a green shoot pushed up through the sand and into the light. It rose, and it thickened, and it lifted itself higher, day by patient day, until it stood, a tall, slim palm tree, the first growing thing in all the world, lifting its long green fronds high above the new land and spreading them wide to catch the wind and the light. And from that first palm came more, for the palm tree dropped its nuts upon the ground, and they rooted and grew and dropped their own nuts in turn, and slowly, a whole green grove of palms spread out across the land, and then groves beyond groves, until the dry world was no longer bare but green, soft and shaded and alive with growing things. The long fronds whispered in the wind. The trunk stood tall and patient in the golden light, and where the palms grew, the storytellers say, other green things came too. The grasses and the low plants and all the soft growing cover of the earth, rooting in the new soil, spreading their leaves, making the world green and living and good. The bare golden land became a green and shaded country, and the wind, which before had passed over empty water and empty sand, now had long fronds to stir and leaves to whisper through, and the world had its first soft green sound. And with the green came shade, and with the shade, the first cool resting places upon the earth. Beneath the spreading palms, the ground lay dappled and soft, gold light falling through the moving fronds in slow shifting patterns upon the sand. A traveler in that new world, had there been one yet, might have sat down in such a place and felt the cool of the shade and the warmth of the earth together, and heard the fronds whispering overhead and grown drowsy and rested. The world was becoming, slowly, a place where one could rest, not bare and exposed any longer, not endless gray water with nowhere to lay one's head, but green and shaded and gentle, full of soft places and quiet sounds, a world made, it almost seemed, for sleeping in. Let that greening settle over you now, slow and gentle as a palm frond moving in a quiet wind. From one brown seed, a tree. From one tree, a grove. From one grove, a whole green world. Nothing forced, nothing hurried. Only a seed set patiently in the warm earth and left to do what seeds do, in their own slow time, rising and spreading and greening the bare land until it was bare no longer. There is such peace in that slow growing. You do not have to make anything green tonight. You have only to rest, the way a seed rests in the warm ground, while the slow, good growing happens all on its own, in the dark, without you lifting a hand. And Obatala walked through the first green groves of the world he had made, under the whispering palms, upon the wide, firm land, and saw that it was good and beautiful and almost finished. There was land now, and there was green. There was a whole world spread upon the deep. But it was still a quiet world and an empty one. There was no one yet to walk in the green groves but the Maker himself. And so Obatala thought, now, of the last and the most tender of all his makings. He would shape, out of the soft earth, the first people, by the edge of a still pool in the new green world, where the earth was soft and damp and easy in the hand. Obatala knelt down to begin the last and gentlest of his works. For now that there was land, and now that there was green, the Maker wished for something more. He wished for living beings to walk in the groves he had made, to look up at the sky he had come from, to fill the quiet world with the warmth of company. And being a maker where he felt a wish, he set his patient hands to answering it. He took up the soft, damp clay of the new earth, cool and smooth and yielding, and he began to shape it. And here, of all the places in the story, let yourself watch most slowly, for there is nothing in all the old tales more tender than a God kneeling in the warm earth, shaping the first people with his own two hands. He worked the clay gently between his fingers. He drew out a small body and shaped two legs to stand and to walk upon the wide land he had made. He shaped two arms and two hands with small, clever fingers like his own. He shaped a head, and in the head he pressed two eyes, to see the green of the palms and the gold of the sand and the blue of the wide water. He gave it a mouth, to speak and to laugh and to sing. He gave it two ears, to hear the wind in the fronds and the lap of the water on the new shore. He worked slowly, and he worked with love, the way you shape something precious that you mean to keep forever. And when the small clay figure was finished, he set it down upon the warm earth and looked at it, and it was good. And then he took up the clay again, and made another, and another, one by one. Kneeling by the still pool, Obatala shaped the first people out of the soft earth, each one a little different, each one made slowly and with care, each given legs to walk, and eyes to see, and a mouth to laugh, and a heart to feel. He did not hurry. He shaped each one as if it were the only one, with all his patient attention, the way a maker who loves his work gives the whole of himself to each small thing he makes. And the little clay figures gathered around him in the warm light, row upon row, all of them made, all of them waiting, all of them not yet alive. For Obatala could shape the bodies, the storytellers say, but the breath of life was not his to give. That belonged to Olorun, the owner of the sky, whose breath is in everything that lives. And so, when Obatala had shaped all the figures he wished to make, Olorun, looking down from the high realm, breathed upon them softly the warm breath of life. And the clay grew warm, and the small figures stirred. They moved their new legs, and they sat up, and they opened their new eyes and looked about themselves at the green and golden world, and they opened their mouths and breathed and lived. The first people, made of the earth by a patient God, and wakened by the breath of the sky. Oh, the gladness of it! They rose up, the first people, and they walked upon the land that the sand had made and the hen had spread. They wandered in the green groves under the whispering palms. They knelt by the still pool where they had been shaped and saw their own faces in the water and wondered at them. They called out to one another, and their voices went out across the new world and were answered. And where there had been only the wind and the water and the whisper of the fronds, now there was the sound of human voices, calling and laughing in the green. The quiet world was quiet no longer. It was full, at last, of life. Let that warmth fill the room around you now, soft and golden as the first morning of the world. People made slowly, lovingly out of the warm earth by patient hands and wakened by a gentle breath. You too are made of the earth. The old story would whisper to you, shaped with care and filled with breath, and set down in a green and living world to walk a while and wonder at its beauty. There is a deep belonging in that. You are not a stranger here. You were made for this world by patient hands, and the same breath that woke the first people is the breath moving slow and easy in you now, as you sink towards sleep. So, the world was made, slowly and gently, out of a shell of sand and a small patient bird and a single brown seed, and at last it was finished. And at last it could simply be. Think of how much had happened and how quietly and how all of it had come to rest. The wide gray water had turned alone beneath the bright sky, with no land anywhere upon it. A patient maker in the high realm had dreamed for an age of a world. He had gathered his three small treasures, the snail's shell of sand, the hen, the palm nut, and gone humbly to ask the blessing of Olorun, the owner of the sky. He had come down the long golden chain, hand over hand, link by patient link, into the soft gray calm. He had poured out the sand upon the water, and the first land had gathered, grain by grain. The hen had scratched it wide across the deep, and the place was named Ile-Ife, the first home. The palm nut had grown from one seed to one tree to a whole green world. And kneeling in the warm earth, Obatala had shaped the first people with his own two hands, and the breath of the sky had wakened them, and the quiet world had filled at last with life. And now all of it was finished, and all of it was at rest. The wide land lay firm and green upon the deep, spread out from Ile-Ife to every far horizon. The palm trees stood tall in the golden evening light, their long fronds whispering softly in the wind. The first people walked in the green groves and knelt by the still pools and slept when night came. Beneath the bright sky they had been wakened under. And Obatala, the patient maker, looked out over all that he had made, the land and the green and the living, and saw that it was good, and that it would hold, and rested. There is a gentle teaching folded into this old story, and you do not have to hold it, only let it warm you as you drift. The world was made slowly, and out of small things, and by patient hands that did not hurry. Nothing in all of it was forced. The sand fell grain by grain. The hen scratched stroke by stroke. The palm grew leaf by leaf. The people were shaped one by one, each with all the Maker's care. The great world, the whole green and living earth, was made the way the best things are always made, a little at a time, gently, patiently, with love, by hands that took as long as the work needed and never once rushed it along. And so when you sleep tonight, you are resting in a world that was made out of patience by a maker who took his time. You are held upon the firm green land that the sand made and the hen spread. You are sheltered beneath the bright sky of Olorun, whose breath is in everything that lives and in you. You are one of the people Obatala shaped with his own slow hands, made of the warm earth and wakened with a gentle breath, and set down in a beautiful world to walk a while and rest a while and wonder at it all. You belong here. You were made for this. And the same patience that made the world is holding you now, gently as you let go. Let your breath go slow and deep, the way the Maker breathed as he worked the clay. Let your body grow heavy and still, the way the wide land settled firm upon the deep. Feel the steady earth beneath you, the land that was scratched out grain by a small patient bird. Feel the high sky over the roof above you, the bright realm from which the Maker came down on his long golden chain. The palms are whispering in the dark. The first people are sleeping in the green. The water turns slow and calm around the edges of the world, and the land holds, and the sky holds, and you are held, safe inside a story older than the kingdoms, older than the names. There is nothing left for you to make tonight. The sand is poured, the land is spread, the palms are grown, the people are shaped and wakened and walking in the green. All of it is finished, and all of it is resting. And so now may you. Let my voice grow faint. Let the words blur softly into the dark. Let yourself sink, slow and warm and deep, down the long, gentle chain of your own slow breathing, link by link, into the soft and formless calm where everything began and where you, too, may rest. Sleep now. The world is made. The land will hold. Good night.